Hi everybody, and welcome to a video tutorial on Blueprint with basic material control via UMG. My name is Simon Lombardo. I'm a tech artist at Epic Game on the enterprise team. So what we're gonna do today is basically create a small UI that will let us control the color of, for example, the wall and the curtain at runtime. So the button will change the color. To do that, I'm using a free project, so if you want to follow along, you can go to your Epic Launcher. On the Learn tab, there is realistic rendering, and you can download it for free. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing we will need to do is actually modify our material so it lets us change its color at runtime. So let's select the wall, and then in the detail panel here, you can see the material. On the material slot, you can see the magnifier. This will take us directly to its material in the content browser. So click on it, and we are in here. So if you hover your mouse on top of it, you can see that it's written it's a material instance. Double click on it. The material instance is a material that has a parent as a main material, but then has some parameters that we can change. You can have different instances from the same parent, and depending on the parameters that are changed, you have different variation. For this tutorial, we're gonna want to modify the parent. So again, in general here, you can see the parent material. Click on the little magnifier, minimize, and it took you to the parent. Double click. And now we are in the material editor. You can see that the parameters as this node here, params here, roughness, we have normal intensity and scale. So if you go to the child or the instance, you can see that they are represented here. What we are interested in is the color. That as well is a parameters, is just a float 4 or a vector 4. So we'll want to change this one. But for this specific tutorial, I will use actually material collection, not a material params. I'll explain a bit later what's the difference at the end of this tutorial. So let's get started by creating our collection. If you click on the little arrow here, you will have your hierarchy. So right click in content and let's create a new folder. Let's call it tutorial. Alright, I'll right click on it and let's create a new folder. Call it my collection. And here we can create a material collection. To do that, just right click, material and texture, material parameter collection. Click on that and give it a name. Call it MTC my colors. Now open it. You can see that you have the same. You have a scalar parameters and a vector parameter, which are the same as you could find here. So what we are interested in is a color, so it's in vector parameter. Let's create a new one. Click plus and give it a name. Naming is really important. Let's call it wall color. Now, you could set up a default color, but in this case, I will just go to the parent, right click on the default value from the original color, copy, and paste it here. That way we keep the same color. Save, and I go back to the material. Now we'll want to replace this one with the material collection. To do that is pretty simple. Just grab the material collection and drop it in the material editor. Now you have a new node here that has the name of your material collection, but it says none. That means that right now it doesn't know which parameter to choose for the output. So to change that, go to the parameters name, click on it, and you can see that the wall color we created earlier is there. Choose wall color, and now we have the same color. Now we could plug that directly into the base color, or a little trick is to hold Control, grab another pin, and plug it back in. Let's delete this one, apply, and save. Now, nothing changed in here, because right now the material collection has exactly the same color. But if you were to double click on it and change this color, you can see the wall changing in real time. That's what we were interested in. Let's cancel and keep it by default, save all. And now let's do the same for the curtain. Click on the curtain, once again, in the detail panel, material, the little magnifier. Hover over it, it is an instance. Let's open it. Now this one seems to have way more parameters in here, especially one that's called color. So let's open the parent and see what's going on. So this material seems a bit more complicated, but luckily everything is named correctly. The only thing we're interested in is the color. But as you can see, the parameters now is a color white, but the curtain has a red color. That's because the instance overrides the parent's color for that specific instance. So once we copy and paste the color, it might be better to copy from the instance, so we keep the same color in here. The other thing is that we have a subsurface color that is kind of a darker version of the original one. So we're gonna have to deal with that as well. First thing first, let's go to the collection, double click, and let's create a new color. Click on the little plus, call it curtains color. Now we'll go to our instance, copy that one, and paste it in. Save, and go back to the parent. Alright, so we know we're going to have to modify that one, and then the subsurface. So the way to do that, the same as we did before, just drag and drop your material collection, click on it, and change the none to the new value curtain color. Now we have our red. Again, you can use Control, either connect it by yourself, or use Control to move the pin, and delete the original one. Apply. There is a warning. The warning is because you have a float 4 going into a float 3. That's an easy fix. From the curtain color, you have a float 4, which was 4 values. Now we'll want only 3. We don't really need the alpha for this specific thing. So just drag from the pin here and take a mask. Component mask. Click on it. The component mask will let you basically choose which channel get out of here. So you feed it, let's say 4 channel, and you can get 1, 2, or 3, or any of you want. So the one we're interested in are R, G, and B. We have no need for the alpha in here. So let's connect it again. You can do the same thing, and it will connect just the 2 that it can. Then reconnect it back. Alright, so now we have the red color, but the subsurface is still this white color. That's fine. Let's select our material collection, Ctrl C, then go back to subsurface scattering, Ctrl V. Unreal will paste it wherever is your mouse. There is another way to do that. You can also select it and do Ctrl W, will duplicate it wherever your mouse is. But we need only one. So let's plug that one in. Same with Control and plug it in. We don't have the problem here with the material the same as we had up with the float 3 and float 4. The reason why is because the original one that was plugged in was a float 4, and the one that's coming on the multiply is also a float 4. So there is no incompatibility in here. Delete the subsurface color. Now, if we remember, the original material instance had a darker for the curtain color. So a little trick to do that is just drag this one and write multiply. And let's multiply it, let's say, by 0.5. And then plug that one in. Now we have a darker color for that. Maybe 0.5 is a bit too high. Let's do 0.25. And apply. Save. And now we have a curtain. Perfect. Let's save everything, and we finish the first part. Now material is set up to be able to change them on the fly. Again, we can test by opening the material collection and changing the color.